Well, hello and welcome back to Mindfulness Monday with Johnny Tiger on April 14, 2025. I started this as a soul search Sunday, but it was running really late and I had a really chaotic weekend. Nothing bad, just a lot of things happened all at once without forewarning. So it was like jumping from one thing to the next, and luckily everything worked out in the end. But yeah, before we start, that is something that I do want to talk about first because on Saturday night, while I was going through my notes and trying to figure out what action figure I want to review next, I suddenly realized that my YouTube channel is not displaying all the videos that I have done. Um, in fact, I think it only go back to like 200 videos. And that really pissed me off because, in case some of you don't know, there's over 2,000 videos on this channel. I've been doing almost daily video, like almost one video a day, consistently pretty much for the last 5 years. So that honestly kind of scared me. I started to freak out, and then I went to check my playlist, and luckily my old videos are still displayed inside the playlist. They're just not showing up on the main channel's main page. If you wonder why I'm having problem talking, it's because I got a little bit of a seasonal allergy today, so I constantly fighting not to sneeze and drippy nose and stuff like that. Anyway, um, so the problem is I don't think a lot of people realize that those playlists are there. So what I did Saturday night was I built these new sections into the front page of my channel. So you guys, if you care to, you can go to the channel now and you will see brand new sections on the front page that tell you that have all the relevant playlists, martial arts and fitness and music, and inside these playlists will have all the video that I have done on that particular topic. So this will hopefully make it easier for people who want to backtrack and look at the older videos. Another thing that I have started doing is I realized that I was a jerk when I did my earlier Toys Thursday videos. A lot of those Toys Thursday videos, the titles were too whimsical, too funky, and basically didn't really tell you what was being reviewed unless you looked at the video description and tap on the video. As a person who watch a lot of action figure review myself, I know that for myself, if the video doesn't tell me what product is not being reviewed, then there's almost no chance of me double tapping or clicking on that because I don't want my time being wasted. So I realized that that was an error on my part to be too creative with the titles during the good old days. So that is one of my pet projects right now to gradually go through the channel's older videos and especially the Toy Thursdays and updating the titles and descriptions with proper uh, phrases and wordings that allow people to see at first glance what was going to be in the video. So that is what part of what's going on this last weekend. So now let's get on with today's mindfulness video. When was the last time that you got roped into an argument? That you argued and argued and argued and you argued until you're blue in the face, and then at the end of it, you realize that was a royal waste of time. Because the person you were arguing with had no idea what they were talking about. They were not interested in what you had to say, and they basically wanted to dominate the conversation with negative feelings, accusations, and uh, swear words and cussing and provocations, anything but talking about the main topic at hand. Yeah, I know. I have gotten into some of those before, and every time it made me feel like a flipping idiot at the end. So today we're going to talk about don't fight idiocy with idiocy. Okay, what happened when you're arguing with someone who is being an utter bloody idiot? And I want to clarify this. I don't use the word idiot to speak about someone who is a mentally challenged or who got a mental disability. I would never call those uh, friends idiot, right? When I say, uh, well, let me quote Russell Peters. When I call someone an idiot, it's because that person is clearly being an idiot, right? That's when I use the word idiot. So don't fight idiocy with idiocy. Let me give you a true story from my childhood to kick off this video. I was, oh, I guess 12 years old. I was on a school field trip, and on the bus, there were a lot of us kids and some teachers, and everyone's kind of like talking, doing their own thing. And then I remember there was this annoying kid. He was maybe 9 years old, so he was like definitely younger than I was by maybe 3 years. And he overheard me talking to the kids on the other side of me about me doing martial arts and stuff like that, and that's what I did a lot, was martial arts when I was a kid. Um, so this kid next to me started chiming in, and he said, martial art, that is stupid. Why would you do martial art? That is stupid. I don't need to do martial art. I just toughen my body. I just condition my body, and no one can hurt me. I don't need any stupid martial art. And I started arguing. I said, there's no way. Like you can't toughen your body to the point where no one can hurt you. And the kids like, well, that's just what your sensei tells you because your sensei wants your money. Your parents want you to learn martial art to get you out of the house. So they don't tell you. My dad told me all I have to do is be tough and toughen my body and mind, and no one can hurt me. And my God, like I keep in mind I was 12 years old, right? So maybe teenage was like puberty was kicking in, and I was getting madder and madder by the moment. I was using all my martial art knowledge to win this argument, and this kid just kept bringing up, oh, maybe it's because your sensei doesn't know shit. Maybe your sensei is stupid like you are, and finally, it got to the point that this kid said, if you don't believe me, go ahead and punch me. If you punch me, and I'll show you. Yeah, you cannot hurt me. I don't care what martial art you have. You cannot hurt me. And me, kind of lost my mind for a second there, punched him full force in the face, and then there was blood everywhere. And he started crying, and everybody started screaming. And needless to say, the teachers came. And the teacher took me aside and smacked the crap out of me. This was back in Taiwan. Back in Taiwan, in case you guys don't know, in China or Hong Kong or Taiwan, teachers were not only allowed but encouraged to use physical punishment. So the teacher took me aside, smacked the crap out of me, and I was feeling so wronged. I was say I felt that this was not just. I said, he told me to. He said to punch him. He keeps saying that he's so tough. He said this, he said that. And my teacher said to me, he said, I don't care. He's 3 years younger than you are. You tell everybody that you've been practicing martial art, so you should know better. Just because he's being stupid doesn't mean that you should be stupid alongside with him, especially when you're supposed to be older and wiser. This is why we punish you, because you are not supposed to be on his level. I did not understand that at the time. I spent the next few years feeling my teacher was a total bitch. It wasn't until I grew up that I realized she was right. She was totally right because I fought idiocy with idiocy. I bought into the idiot's game and I went down to his level, which means I became an idiot myself. Now let's look at some ancient wisdoms that are also talk about the same thing. Now, the following story I'm going to tell you as a story about Confucius. But this is not a true story, okay? This is just a fun story that's been passed down through the generations, but it's not meant to be a real history, right? Um, so the story goes that one day Confucius was out conducting business and uh, passing on his teaching. He left one of his most capable students, Zilu, at home to take care of the school and take care of younger students. Now, Zilu is a real person, or was a real person, very, very popular, one of Confucius's most beloved students, and very smart. So while Zilu was taking care of the chores and making sure everyone's doing their homework, suddenly there was a knock on the door. And Zilu went to open the door and he saw this really weird looking guy standing outside. The guy was dressed all in green and he's tall and very skinny and had huge, huge eyes. And he has two braids on top of his head. It's just like the weirdest looking guy. Like no one did their hair like that back then. Like the two braids look like a bug's antennae, and those big creepy eyes just looking at you. And so Zilu was taken aback, and Zilu said, "Uh, yes." And this guy said, "Excuse me, I'm sorry, but I'm here to see Mr. Confucius." And Zilu said, "Oh, well, Master Confucius is not home. Um, I'm sorry. What business do you have with him?" And the stranger said, "Oh, that's too bad because I have a serious question. I heard that Confucius is really smart, so I got a question. I was hoping that he can answer for me. Uh, can I leave a message? Who am I speaking with?" And Zilu said, "Oh, well, I am Zilu. I am Master Confucius's student." Uh, and the stranger said, "Oh, wow, you're Zilu. Yeah, man, I heard of you too. You're supposedly you're almost as smart as Confucius. Uh, so since Confucius not here and you are here, maybe I can ask you the question." Well, Zilu was really happy to that this stranger has heard of him. So Zulu said, "Yeah, okay, okay, sure, I'll help you. What is your question?" The stranger said, "How many seasons is there in a year?" Zulu was like, "What? Is that it? Is that it? I mean, come on, any person knows that. There's 4 seasons, okay? There's 4 seasons: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Okay, so those are the 4 seasons. There's 4 seasons in a year. And the stranger shook his head and said, no, 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 you're wrong, you're wrong. No, you are as stupid as all the other people I have spoken with. There's only 3 seasons in a year. There's spring, summer, autumn. Okay, I don't understand why you guys keep saying there's 4 seasons. There's only 3 seasons. And Zulu said, That that's BS. You're crazy. There's 4 seasons. Spring, summer, autumn, winter. Everybody knows that. Why are you being stupid? And the guy said, no, no, you are the one being stupid. There's spring, summer, autumn. There's no such thing as winter. There's only 3 seasons. And then the two of them argued and argued and argued, back and forth, back and forth. Neither of them willing to back down. They argued until they were red in the face. And at this time, Confucius came home. Uh, and Confucius came over and said, hey, Zulu, who's this friend here? And what are you guys arguing about? And Zulu said, oh, master, I am so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're here. This stranger, this guy, came in, said he had got a question to ask, and then he asked how many seasons are there in a year. And I told him 4 seasons, and he insists there's only 3. So I've been trying to correct him, and he's so stubborn that he won't listen. And then Zulu turned to the stranger and said, look, look, here's my master, Master Confucius. Okay? You have to believe him, right? You have to believe what he says. Okay? So let's have a bet. We'll ask Master Confucius how many seasons are there in the year. And if he says I am right, if he says there's 4, then you have to kneel down in front of me and kowtow to me. That means put bow down and put your head to the ground, like in a sign of submission. You have to get down on the floor and kowtow to me 3 times. And if he says you are right, I will kowtow to you 3 times. All right? And the guy said, sure, okay, fine, fine, because I know there's only 3 seasons. Okay, so they both of them turned to Confucius and said, well, is there 3 or 4 seasons in a year? And without missing a beat, Confucius said, Zulu, get down on your knee and kowtow 3 times because this friend is right. There's only 3 seasons in a year. Zulu almost lost his shit. He almost blew a gasket because he knew that there's 4 seasons in a year. We all know there's 4 seasons in a year. He knew that Confucius knew there's 4 seasons in a year, and yet here his master was throwing him under the bus. Essentially, he was so mad, but because he was obedient to his master, he got down on his knees and kowtowed to the stranger and say, "Yeah, okay, you're right. You're right. There's 3 seasons in a year." And this stranger left happily. Uh, After the stranger left, Zelu jumped up and whirled on Confucius, and he said, Master, how can you do this to me? How can you do this? I expected you to back me up, especially when you know I'm damn right. Okay, you know I'm right. You know there's 4 seasons in a year. You always taught us there's 4 seasons in a year. You even write poetry. You even write articles about what people should be doing in each one of these seasons. Well, how can you do this to me? And Confucius looked at Zulu and said, Zulu, you don't understand what was going on. Do you know what was the person you were arguing with? Zulu said, no, I never saw him before. And Confucius said, well, I have seen his kind before. That is not a human. That is a grasshopper that became demonic and turned into a human. It's a grasshopper. you're arguing with. Remember, a grasshopper is born in the spring, they mate in the summer, and they die in autumn. To a grasshopper, there's no such a thing as winter. So it doesn't matter what kind of logic you use. You are never going to convince a grasshopper that there's such a thing as winter. You are just wasting each other's time. And unless you were willing to see it from his point of view, unless you were willing to concede, he would never go away. This grasshopper would haunt this school for the rest of our freaking life. So just by agreeing with him and sending him on his way, we avoided trouble for the school. Okay, that is the real wisdom here. So that is the end of that little story. It's really cute, and it does very much reflect on what another famous scholar from Chinese history by the name of Zhuangzhou. Uh, Zhuangzhou, by the way, is the guy who wrote the philosophy about, are you if you dream to be a butterfly who dream to become you, are you the butterfly or is the butterfly you? Which one is real? Which one is fake? That's Zhuangzhou. Okay, so Zhuangzhou also wrote um, an article that basically said, don't ever argue with a frog against a frog about the ocean, and don't ever argue against a grasshopper about winter. Okay? And again, a frog lives in the pond and stream, marshes. They don't know anything about the ocean. There's no point for you to argue with a frog about the ocean because they've never seen it before. They will never see it in their lifetime. They will not. They don't care. They they never heard of it. So no matter how you argue about it, you're not going to win. And don't argue with the grasshopper about the winter. So basically, the what we just talked about, the story with Confucius and Zilu. Another, this one's supposedly true history. Okay, another historical record was that there was two villagers who got into a big argument. One said 1 plus 1 equals 2. The other one said 1 plus 1 equals 3. And then they argued and finally got into a fist fight. And they went to the magistrate. They were arrested and got taken to the magistrate. And the magistrate asked them, "So what led up to the fight? What's the argument?" And so they told the magistrate, Your Honor, if this guy says 1 plus 1 is 3, I tried to educate him and tell him 1 plus 1 is 2, and he wouldn't listen. So we started arguing, and things just got out of hand. And the magistrate ended up ordered caning for the guy who said 1 plus 1 equals 2. He had to be lashed with a cane 50 times. And the guy felt that it was unjust. And he said, Your Honor, why cane me? Why cane me? I am the one who knows the right answer. Why are you caning me? And the magistrate basically did to him what my teacher did to me. The magistrate said, Yes, it is exactly because you know the right answer that I'm caning you. This guy is the idiot. He doesn't know and he doesn't care. He wants to say 1 plus 1 is 3. Why are you arguing with him and you two come here and waste my time? This is why I'm caning you because you should have known better. So all these little stories illustrate the importance of realizing that you can't fight idiocy with idiocy. When someone is determined to be an idiot, when someone is not willing to see things from your point or even hear what you have to say or even solve the problem, then there's no point uh, continue to get down to their level and try to change their mind or even trying to argue the case with them. A lot of time when you run into people like these, it's much better to either walk away, get away from them, and always keep your distance, or if you can't get away, then play possum and just play pussy and just say, "You're right. Yes, dear. You're right." I used to get so affected when I get into arguments with my father on the phone, and it would mess me up for the whole day. And when my dad would say things like, I wasn't as successful as other people, and I was no good for nothing, and stuff like that. Until one day, my mom said to me, "Why are you taking him seriously? Why argue with him? He's a mad person. He's not right in the head. Why would you sit there and argue with a mad person and then let what they say affect you?" And you know what? After that day, I became so much better at dealing with my dad because I just have to keep it in my mind that I'm conversing with a mad person. And a lot of the time, I am okay to say, "Yeah, Dad, you're right. You're right. Yeah, you know what? I really should do better. I wish I could be as successful as you were when you were my age. You know, you are always my biggest role models. I idolize you, and you are the most awesome dad." And then he's happy, and when he's happy, he starts saying nice things, and it makes me happy. So yeah, I rather than fighting him with fire against fire, I am okay just lowering my own posture and playing along because I know when you're arguing with an idiot, that's the only way you can get through that. So why is it not a good idea to argue with idiots? Again, I'm not talking about people who have mental disability. I'm talking about people who really are being idiots. Why is it a bad idea beyond wasting your time? Well, there's two very important reasons why it is a really bad idea. Uh, well, three. One is it makes you look bad. Okay, if you end up winning or if you end up disproving them, you still look like an a-hole in front of other people, like in the case of my teacher and I and the villagers with the magistrate. You know, the person who's right is going to get punished because you should know better. They're idiot. Why are you wasting everybody's time? So that is the first reason. It's like there's no win in it. Even if you win, you look bad. Number two is a lot of time it's so easy to get roped into their mentality. You're going to get roped into their world, and they're going to pile all their negativity onto you. And in the end, you can't even see your way clear enough to remember what you were arguing about to begin with, right? So, I mean, I'm sure most of us have gone through this with a partner in a relationship where you start off by saying something very simple like, "Hey, can you, next time when you come into the house, can you close the door? I don't like it when you don't close the door behind you." And then your partner, like, "Well, what's the matter? You got something you have to hide? You have something you're ashamed of? You can't you see that I'm busy? But you're too lazy to get up and close the door." And you're like, "No, I'm not too lazy, but I am doing something too. And you are the one that walks through the door. You should close it." And then your partner is like, "Oh yeah, so you're saying what you have to do is more important than what I have to do? Yeah, yeah, that's you. You're always thinking about yourself. You're never thinking about other people. So you are the most important thing, right? No one else have important thing to do, right?" And then you are defending yourself. "No, no, no. And that's not what I mean. You bastard. What I mean is." And the other person said, "Well, I remember 2 years ago you said this, and you didn't close the door that time. So why is it okay for you not to close the door?" And like within 5 minutes you are like at each other's throat. You don't even know how you got to that point, right? Because you unknowingly start taking on the negative emotion, the negative memory, the negative output, the energy they shove toward you as a defense mechanism. And those negative energy will drag you in. And next thing you know, you are mad, you are feeling crazy, you are feeling not clear in the head. And that's when arguments spiral out of hand. Okay, so don't play that game. Don't fight idiocy with idiocy. When you feel that negative energy coming, when you feel that diversion coming, sidestep it, get away, end the argument. The most important reason, okay, and this is very important, as a self defense coach, I have to say this is perhaps the most important one. When you fight idiocy with idiocy, because you are coming at it from a more clear minded, more civilized person perspective, you don't know what extreme they will go to. Okay? You are thinking, we are arguing, that's it. I'm telling you what I don't like about you. You tell me what you don't like about me. That the end of story. Okay, that's your perspective. That you not being an idiot, but you don't know what the idiot's going to do. Okay, um, this especially applies to road rage or arguing with strangers or neighbors or people you don't know. Um, Friends and family members, you kind of know where they stand, you kind of know where their boundaries are, so you're a little bit safer. But when you're arguing with strangers, be very, very careful, right? The moment you detect they are being idiots, don't pursue it because you never know how extreme they'll get. True story. Just a few years ago in Nanjing, China, a guy was parking his car and he got a little bit too close to a lady with her baby in a carriage. So she had her baby in the stroller. And so the lady smacked his car with her hand and yelled at him. And the guy got out of the car and yelled back at her for hitting his car. And the two started arguing. And the baby, the woman started cussing him out and say, "Can't you see that I have a baby? Are you so stupid? You're going to endanger the life of a child. Like you're clearly in the wrong. Like what kind of person will endanger the life of a child?" And the guy escalated this to a degree that no one thought it was going to happen. Okay, this is going to be a little bit horrifying, so I'm sorry. Like, if you guys don't want the gruesome details, I'll keep it down. But suffice to say, the guy killed her baby. Okay, I'm not going to go into too much detail. It was horrifying, but the guy killed her baby in front of her, basically, right there in front of everybody. Um, so yeah, like you don't know when you're arguing with someone, a stranger, you don't know what kind of mental strain they're under. You don't know if they're a loose cannon, if they got something they've been suppressing, that they're just ready to snap. So arguing with them is very counterproductive and can be very, very dangerous. I'll give you another example. Another true example happened in Canton in China. I'm making China sound really bad. uh, there's a couple, boyfriend, girlfriend, having lunch or having dinner at a roadside cafe. The table next to them were taken up by a bunch of teenage hoodlums. And these teenage hoodlums saw the woman, maybe she was dressed a little bit sexy because she's out with her boyfriend. So these young hoodlums started wolf whistling and making rude comments and asking her how much she charged an hour and stuff like that. And the boyfriend said to his girlfriend, he said, let's just pay our bill. Let's just go. Let's just ignore that. Okay, they're young, they're stupid. Let's just go. But his girlfriend said to him, "Can't you grow a spine? Can't you see that I'm being sexually harassed? Are you not even a man? Are you not man enough to defend me?" So, un- unfortunately, this got to the boyfriend. So the boyfriend went over to the next table and started cussing out these young hoodlums. And then these young hoodlums took out switchblade and stabbed him like 20 something times on the spot. When the paramedic came, the boyfriend was already dead, and when people asked if he said anything before he died, his last words to her was not "I love you." His last words was, "I hope this was man enough for you, you bitch." So to avoid tragedies like this, avoid fighting idiocy with idiocy. Okay? Walk away and live to argue another day. Thank you so much for keeping up with my videos, and please like and subscribe and share, and I'll be back again later. Thank you guys. Have a good night.